after that.
Okay, I'm
Sorry,
recording
I
now.
had to do it.
No, you didn't. All right, here we go.
All right, let's go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of Nexus Sports. We have the gang together today to talk a little bit about what's going on in the sports world during this unique time. I'm Logan Windsor, representing the state of Florida right now. I'll start with the Tank Observers. We got a representative from the state of Arkansas, Jackson McCarty. Jackson, how you living life right now?
Colder than I would like to be, more indoors than I would like to be.
Yeah, I definitely didn't go in the pool today at 90 degrees in Florida. I definitely didn't do that.
You want me to stay in this? Do you want me to stay in this Zoom session? I wouldn't be rubbing it in if you want me to stay in this Zoom session.
Speaking of cold, we got our other boy of the Tank Observers, Chris Spar from New York.
Yeah, rocking sweaters and growing out a nice quarantine beard since I'm not allowed to leave the house.
Yeah, mine's coming in a little bit more full right now. I got the goatee going.
Want to see mine?
But it's really just sad sideburns, so let's keep it up.
We got the beer master himself from the state of Vermont, from beyond the buzzer, Landon Potvin.
Howdy, folks. It's pretty cold. Chris, what is it? What is it where you are? It's 55 where I am.
Barely 40.
Really?
And you're more north than me, so we have some issues.
We do.
Yeah, there's some issues going on. And lastly, from beyond the buzzer, we got Cam Champagne from North Carolina.
What up? Kind of enjoying this. I'd love to be back home, but back to school. But I've been making bank working, so I've been all right.
Well, I don't have a job right now. Not a lot of people do. So everyone's just kind of trying to figure out their own way.
I'm glad Cam's.
There's a lot of things going on right now in the world of sports, surprisingly, even though there's been a lot of cancellations. We're going to start with the one league that really hasn't been affected too much by this, and that's the National Football League. Now, a couple weeks ago, we had free agency, and that was insane. We had I don't remember a free agency where so many players switched teams that were such big players. So we'll start with the Tank Observers. What is the biggest free agent signing that you've seen so far?
I was gonna say this is an easy one.
That's
Let's
Tom
go
Brady.
see, here's the thing, Jackson. I saw you thinking. I saw you ready to say something. There's not much thinking. Tom Brady just left a team he won 6 Super Bowls with and played for 20 years. It's Tom Brady.
I was going to go a different way because I don't think he'll be the most impactful free agent. I think he's the biggest change, far and away.
Really?
Yes, but I'm not sure that he's the most impactful free agent.
Well, by impactful, he takes the Buccaneers from one of the worst teams in the league to a Super Bowl contender.
Does he?
Yes.
What did Montana do whenever he left San Fran?
Jackson.
Okay, but we can't answer that question right now. There's no games played. So
Okay, but Jameis Winston.
On paper, yes, they're a Super Bowl contender.
Why? Because Jameis only threw 20 more interceptions
Mike
than Brady.
Evans.
That's the only difference, really.
In theory, you just replaced the kid who had the most passing yards in the NFL for somebody who is past their prime.
Past their prime.
Don't get me wrong. He is going to be an upgrade over Winston this season. But I'm not sure I wouldn't have rather had Winston for the next couple of years. I like Winston a lot as a quarterback.
And he just got his eye surgery, so who knows how good he's going to be.
Yeah, he got his license.
Guys, what you're forgetting here is that most executives don't even think Winston's going to have a starting job.
No, because he's
I would
not.
love to see Winston start because he just got that eye surgery, and it'd be cool to find out what can happen if he could actually see what, colors he's throwing to. But, after 30 interceptions, how are you really going to trust him? And Tom Brady,
he's about to sign
Bulls, and Tampa would love to give him a 7th, I'm sure.
I really think he's about to sign a 2-year with either Pittsburgh or Minnesota.
Possibly. But going back to the Buccaneers in a way, the reason why Jameis has such a high passing yardage is because they had a one-sided offense. They really didn't have a run game. So if they draft a running back in the first or second round, you may see more of a balanced offense where Brady doesn't need to throw 5,000 yards to be successful.
Yeah, and their offense really didn't have to succeed by throwing 5,000 yards. They just needed to cut turnovers down. But that's just not the way Bruce Arians likes to play. He likes those gunners, man. And I don't see how Tom Brady really fits into that, but hey, they've got somebody with a winning mindset in the building, and that's what matters.
They might be getting Brady so that they draft someone next year so Brady can mentor him.
They could get Eason in the second.
They could.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Brady's at his best when he has a great or a good offensive line, right?
Oh yeah, well, that's any quarterback though.
And he can.
No, I wouldn't say that because Rodgers has been almost better with a bad offensive line when he's an improviser.
Right. Same with Deshaun Watson.
Bakhtiari for like half his career, so bad offensive line. Bakhtiari makes up for like half of like the entire offensive line.
But Brady has weapons now, so he's gonna make those weapons better, even better than they are. Like he's been with Julian Edelman, and that's it for like the last 4 or 5 years.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do with Evans and OJ Howard, who's going to be dynamic. And, maybe his offensive line is subpar, especially for a guy who doesn't really move that much. But, you have Ali Marpet, who's a rock at left guard. And, maybe they draft a tackle. Mekhi Becton has been a name that's tied to him, but with his draft stock rising, maybe he won't make it. But, Andrew Thomas might be around. So they could fill in gaps on the offense.
Andrew Thomas.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, yes, Tom Brady's a good signing, but there have been other signings in the league. So, besides Tom Brady one, what about one that maybe has gone under the radar a little bit?
Conklin to the Browns. I think that might have been the best signing of free agency because their biggest need was a left tackle. They've been in big talks for getting Trent Williams since as long as he's been wanting on the block, and they finally got it and didn't have to give up anything.
I feel like the Browns win every free agency.
Yeah, and then they lose the regular seasons. But we'll just keep praying for them. They need it more than anybody else right now, right?
That Austin Hooper. I didn't like the Austin Hooper signing. Go ahead.
I do. I really like Hooper.
I love the Austin Hooper signing. A nice big on target. And, hey, Odell's awesome at catching touchdowns, but he's more of a downfield threat. You get Austin Hooper for those red zone times. Njoku, he's been hurt or just hasn't shown excellence. But having both of them, Njoku and Hooper, is going to be insane. Hooper also brings a blocking aspect that Njoku didn't have. So all that, and then, replacing Demarius Randall with Carl Joseph on defense, the only big mistake they've made this offseason has been losing Joe Schobert. And that was a big time for Jacksonville.
I just thought Hooper was too much, but might be me.
Well, he's making about just as much money as Jimmy Graham right now.
I like the Todd Gurley signing. I think if the Falcons can get their offensive line struggles together, they have a solid defense. Hopefully Deion Jones and Ricardo Allen can be healthy this year. But with Gurley, if Gurley can stay healthy as well, they finally have a good running game. And then, of course, they got the three-headed monster at the receiving core.
Granted, it's April, but the Falcons are my sleeper Super Bowl team this year. I think they have a way better built defense people give them credit for. And now with the Gurleys, because Devontae Freeman hasn't been good since 2017.
Right. He was injured.
They have a balanced offense now. I could see Atlanta making a run in the NFC South. You got the Saints.
The Saints and the Buccaneers are there, Logan.
Okay, first of all, we were talking about how the Bucs might not even be that good.
Correct, but the Saints,
whose defense got a massive downgrade, and Drew Brees, who has been declining for the last 3 years.
They just got don't say Drew Brees is declining, and their defense. They just got Malcolm Jenkins.
I trust Matt Ryan better more than Drew Brees right now.
Oh.
Dude,
you're sounding drunk now, Logan.
True font. They have no cornerbacks
at all.
Jackson just left for a reason other than that. But
Logan,
you're giving them credit for a well-built defense. They don't have a secondary.
Well, we have.
And Ricardo Allen means nothing if you don't have any.
Hey, when the Falcons win the NFC South next year, remember that I am staking my claim right now.
Logan, you sound
I'm
like
not sure I have enough time between whenever I see that and when I wake up to remember that, but I'll try.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if you're third in the South.
Jesus.
Jackson, where do you think they'll land in the South? Tell me.
They'll be the third.
Thank you. Yes, they will be the third.
Panthers are the only team worse than them in the NFC South.
Wait, hold on. Question. What about Panthers and Teddy Bridgewater?
Bridgewater will be fine. He's not. I don't think he's the guy.
How do you think? Do you think they'll finish last in the South?
Oh, for sure.
The South,
best. Wait, hold on.
one of the best divisions in football. They have
You think they're going to be the best division in football this year?
They used probably.
Like, no, the NFC West still exists.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well,
2 years ago when the
speaking
Rams.
of- well, that's a good transition. Speaking of the NFC West, we had one of the most crazy trades in NFL history. We had DeAndre Hopkins
Nook the bomb.
and a fourth go to the Cardinals for David Johnson and a second.
Bill
And
O'Brien.
a fourth.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really funny. We actually had a plan. For this. This is one of the first times we're going to be on plan, and I actually have the Cardinals as one of my free agent winners because we were going to talk about that, but then this happened. So the Cardinals, they totally won this free agency, and they barely signed anybody. They got DeAndre Hopkins and gave up, bubblegum and rocks for him. So,
Okay, but here's what I want to know. How is this a positive for the Texans? How did they see this as a good thing?
they didn't.
It's just Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien.
I'm not sure Bill O'Brien thinks he has a job anymore. I'm more or less a believer at this point that he's just like, you know what? Houston didn't get punished by Rob Manfred. Let me do it. And
Sean Watson's gone next. He's going to leave.
he won't. No, he won't. He's stuck.
He
is
should
stuck.
just
2021.
demand a trade.
Until then,
21.
he won't. He can't demand a trade. You don't trade those quarterbacks.
No, he'll be a free agent though.
Okay. But here, think of Bill O'Brien, one of the smartest GMs of all time. He traded DeAndre Hopkins, a receiver, and got a guy who can play receiver and running back in David Johnson, a guy who can play two positions.
And then the
think about
second best
this.
receiver in Minnesota got a first
His
round.
name, D. Johnson, being a running back and receiver. Where do we recognize that from? Oh, yeah, Duke Johnson, who plays for the Texans, who does the same thing. So defenses are going to be so confused when they see two D. Johnsons on the field at the same time. They're just going to – they don't know who to cover. There's two of them. And then when Duke and David Johnson have 40 touchdowns this year, Bill O'Brien is going to be just laughing in all of our faces.
You're brilliant, but DJ 2K is like 2 years departed from anything related to being a talented running back. And
But they're both D. Johnson and they're both flex running backs.
Oh,
How about we transition to the Chris Spars beloved Stephon Diggs?
Well, I want to say one thing.
Wait. Go ahead.
You know how the Giants traded OBJ because of locker room problems? That could be why they did it with D-Hop.
Probably.
Of course the Giants.
It was probably a desperation trade.
Of course, the Giants got more in return than the Texans, but
because they had a GM.
David Johnson, he was good 2 years ago, and then he was hurt last year.
He still could be good. He's still one of the better dual threat running backs.
Of course, this was a terrible
Hakeem,
trade.
right?
It was. I'm not going to get that wrong that it's a bad trade, but there's a teeny bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
He got replaced.
The last thing we'll say about
over for him.
The last thing we'll say about NFL free agency is that we don't even need to say who the loser is because besides the Texans, there was one clear team that just lost in free agency.
The Bears. They bought Nick Foles.
That and
Jimmy Graham.
And Jimmy Graham. But just the NFC North in general, because the Minnesota Vikings didn't sign anyone and they lost everyone.
And the Patriots left the NFC North or the AFC North, and they went to the.
Hey, they did sign Kirk Cousins.
They went to the Lions.
They did. My apologies. They did extend Kirk Cousins.
all right. Here's the thing. Kirk Cousins may look awful, like almost always, but he did bring us to the playoffs, and he did beat the Saints, which was phenomenal.
Stephon Diggs.
Cool. You lost your best receiver and you lost your entire defense.
Hold on. You want to talk? All right. For one thing, we cut our entire defense. There's a difference between losing them. We got so much money from doing that. We actually have like $24 million in cap right now.
You think they'll sign County?
Who did you sign with all that money, Chris?
No one. I guess we're saving it for next year. I don't know.
It's kind of like Chris Barr took over in a franchise, like we've watched him do so many times, and he just cut everybody. It's just done for that roster.
That's so true.
Y'all even still
Searching
play
for cap
him.
space, and frankly, Xavier Rhodes was awful. But hey, look on the bright side. Everson Griffin hasn't been signed yet. I think that says something. And Linval Joseph is getting overpaid by the Chargers. So you know what? I guess I'm okay with that. And I don't even know where Xavier Rhodes ended up. I'm pretty
The
sure he got
Bengals.
signed. The Bengals. Oh, wow. I bet he's going to be killing it next season.
And Mackenzie
Yeah,
Alexander went
yeah.
to the Bengals.
Did he really? I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. I thought we re-signed him, to be honest. But Trey Waynes also went to the Bengals. Oh, my God. All of our secondary went to the Bengals. I just realized that.
Maybe Trey Waynes went somewhere
Franchise
else.
tag Anthony Harris.
Yeah, I saw that
Sure.
one.
Is anyone going to compete in the NFC North with the Packers now? Is there any competition?
Dude,
I
you
mean-
lost the same team that we did last season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we made
You
the
just
NFC
lost your
Championship.
whole team.
yeah, you
We
lost the
lost
whole
the-
defense.
We lost a
We have
tackle.
We have a guy on the bench who got one less sack than Everson Griffin and didn't start a game.
Hey,
I'm really not worried.
Logan, I will say this. If Matthew Stafford is healthy, I think we can compete. We proved that last year. when he was healthy.
They actually were pretty salty last year.
We started 4-1 with Matthew Stafford. And then after he got injured, we lost every single game. But
Yeah,
with
you're
Matthew
correct.
Stafford healthy, we can prove
Including
to
us.
I was like, dude, you guys lost by the Redskins. Come on, man.
You did do that.
You lost Rick Wagner. You traded away Darius Slay. Quandre Diggs is gone. You don't have it. You guys are in worse shape than us.
They
And we
signed the Patriots though.
They do love doing that.
Yeah, you guys just love bringing in those washed up Patriots that they don't.
Even the
want.
coach.
Yeah, you.
He'll be
Even
gone.
I think we should fire him, but Mike, would you just-
We're going to move on now. Move a little bit from free agency because we'll finish up with the draft in the NFL. The draft is happening virtually. It's just been confirmed by Adam Schefter. It is going to happen virtually from the 23rd to the 25th. So it's going to be a different style than usual. But Jackson and Chris, especially since you're our NFL draft specialists, is there any player that almost benefits from this situation?
What, from the draft being pushed back?
Yeah. Just, not having teams being able to, do pro days, not being able to scout as much as they would like.
Becton.
Becton?
I think there's a lot of holes on his tape that people aren't going to get to see at his pro day now, and they're just going to get to see his combine grades.
I think Ross Blackrock is in a very similar situation.
Blacklock does the same thing. I feel like Herbert, with missing interviews, because I don't think he was going to interview well at all.
Jacob Eason, I think, got a raw deal on that end because
Yeah.
he got the interview and bombed heroic.
Well, the one quarterback that has been rising on everyone's draft boards has been Tua. Tua, at the beginning of the year, in January 2020, we didn't think he was going to be a first-round draft pick. We thought he was going to fall to the second and the third, possibly. He wasn't a confirmed first-round pick. Now it looks like he may be taken second overall, either by the Redskins or someone trading up to that pick. What have you made of this rise into a draft stock?
What?
I said, do you want this one? Because I was about to go off.
You can go for it, then I'll follow you up.
All right. I do not think he's rising. I think he's falling. I don't know why people are saying that. I've seen a lot more articles. I've been really digging into Tua because I've been watching his tape. I've been doing a lot of looking into him. I have only seen him falling. I didn't hear that he was rising up boards. I've heard the only team that's looking to trade up for him is potentially either the Patriots or the Dolphins. I think that they're the only teams that would move up to get him. I've heard that he was falling and have even heard that he could go into the late top 10. So that's just what I've heard.
Wow.
You missed the biggest team that I think will move in to the top 4 to get him.
Chargers.
Yes. There's a reason that Cam Newton and Jameis Winston are not on a roster yet. The Chargers are the team that could sign both of them if they wanted, but they keep saying, we're going to wait. I really feel like Anthony Lynn's got hard eyes for Tua Tagovailoa.
I mean, that makes sense.
I like Justin Herbert going there.
Plus, what you could do, you send the 6th to the Giants. That way, the Chargers can still get Tua at 4. The Dolphins get Herbert at 5, and then Isaiah Simmons is still there for the Giants. Because that's who I'm almost certain that's who they're taking.
I like Simmons. He's good.
Yeah, he's
I
very
don't.
good.
I don't like him for the Giants. Giants.
Yeah, but that's Gettleman's type of player.
Yeah, but they have so many more needs than getting a linebacker. They just signed Blake Martinez for $10 million a year. I'm really not sure how I'd feel about them drafting a second linebacker and paying that much. Especially
They actually picked up 3 linebackers this offseason.
It's Gettleman.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. It's Gettleman. And plus, Isaiah Simmons can play safety. He can play corner if you want him to. He'll line up wherever you want him.
Couldn't he rush too?
Yeah, if he needed to.
Yeah, he's insane. He does literally everything that you could possibly want a player to do on defense. So except run defensive tackle. So
he's built like a brick house.
Well, we're going to move on to sports now. We covered the NFL for a decent amount of time. We're going to cover a sport that's been really affected by this, and that's the NBA. Yes. Now, there's going to be meetings today, possibly suspending the NBA season more and possibly canceling the playoffs. We're not going to get too much into that because we obviously don't have the information to provide. But if the regular season ended today, obviously awards still need to be given out. So we're going to run by the 3 to 4 awards that there are, and we're going to give our thoughts on them. The first one, which should be the easiest one, is Rookie of the Year. The 2-man race. We'll start with Landon from Beyond the Buzzer. Landon, who's your Rookie of the Year so far?
Tyler Herro. No, I'm just kidding. Ja Morant. It's easy because, he's pretty up there. He's high up there in assists, and he's bringing the Grizzlies to the playoffs. I think that's a no-brainer. If you're a rookie and you can carry your team to the playoffs, if Zion was in the Pelicans could be like the 6th seed right now or even the 7th seed if he was there because those Pelicans are doing some work or were doing some work. But it's Ja Morant, easy.
Cam, we'll go with the other man from the Beyond the Buzzer. What do you think, Cam?
I have to agree with that. He was already winning even if it didn't end. I think he was winning no matter what. He's like the only one that's played a complete full year. If Zion played from game 1, it would be Zion in a heartbeat the way he's playing. But he's not. Ja Morant's been great all year. Memphis was last, one of the worst teams in the West last year, and now they're playoff contenders. So that's proven that Ja is a key contributor.
Jackson and Chris, your thoughts?
Jackson, you can go first.
I know Topher's answer. I do, but I can't change my mind from you guys. It's Ja because he's played the full season. Zion, I'm not sure that he could have kept up those numbers had the season continued. And I'm being serious.
That's interesting. That's actually really interesting.
Okay.
I don't think that he could have kept that up.
Chris?
It's
All
just,
right,
you gotta go, Ja.
Zion, man, he's sensational.
It's gonna happen.
He's sensational. He is averaging
he hasn't played the whole year. Rookie of the year, not rookie of the midway season.
The year isn't even over, so come on, chill. Also, he came in and immediately legitimized the Pelicans as a team. He legitimized them. They were garbage. They were out of the playoffs, and they are now over the Trailblazers, who have Damian Lillard, who people are like, oh, MVP. No, he's not an MVP. He can't carry his team. Zion's doing a better job of carrying his own team than Damian Lillard.
Because he's got Brandon Ingram, which is an all-star, Lonzo Ball, which has been playing sensational as of late. Who else?
Okay, but
exactly.
He's scoring for the points. Okay, let me ask you this right now.
Zion.
Yeah, this is the conversation. Who's better, Zion or Ja?
Zion.
I'd rather start my team with Ja.
That's it.
I start my team. He hasn't played the whole year, so you can't give it to a guy that's only played 30 games.
He's the best rookie of the year. He's the better rookie by a mile. He's already, if his numbers stayed the same, he would have been an all-star, possibly an all-star starter. So if it was different people and if it was different circumstances, I get the whole argument of, he didn't play the whole year. But Zion is just light years above every other rookie in this draft class.
Wow,
including Ja would have won Rookie of the Year possibly last year. I think Zion is just playing so much better than everyone else that he deserves the award.
Who did win?
Or he should be cute, or he should win it next year.
Yeah, Luka would have won it last year. No matter Luka was.
Yeah, Luka was
perfect.
I think Luka probably would have beat Zion, but like
Easily.
Luka's
Without
not
question.
here this year, and Zion is. And Ja, for as fantastic as he was, averaging like 17 and 8 or something like that. He was great, man. He was a very, very talented player. And the only edge that he has on Zion is that he wasn't hurt coming into the season.
only thing.
We'll move on to an award that, by interpretation, everyone can have a different answer. The comeback player of the year. There's been a lot of players that have risen on stock this year. We'll start with Chris. We'll go opposite order. Chris, who's your comeback player of the year?
Wait, I have a question. Are you mistaken with most improved or like an injury and then?
Most improved. Most improved.
Okay.
I'm also confused. I don't
My
think
most improved. I'm sorry.
my most
I was thinking
I've got to go Bam Adebayo.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
And I was I was fighting myself because Brandon Ingram was fantastic this year. Cam mentioned him when he was arguing that Zion was on a better team or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, Bam Adebayo I think was one of the biggest reasons that Miami Heat is even in the conversation for being good. He had to guard Giannis and did a pretty good job of it.
Did a great job.
really
Did as
good
good a
job.
job as you could do against Giannis. And, his defense is scoring. He had a few triple-doubles toward the end of the year. And, I think he was that 1-2 punch with Jimmy Butler because, in a league that duos are the new thing, you need that. So I think he did an awesome job, and he would be my most improved player.
We'll go to Jackson now.
Is it cheap to say Luka?
Yes.
Okay, so my argument for Luka is because he won Rookie of the Year last year, and he was already at that pedestal, he was on the rise, and it's only his second year.
Yeah,
so,
It's understandable, but the leap that he took, where he is now almost averaging
if we're going pure based off leap, I think Luka might be there, but it's no second-year players ever won the award, so that's not usually doesn't happen.
And you can make the same argument about Trae Young too. Trae Young went from 19 to 29 points per game, 3 more assists per game, but I think because Logan is right on that point where a second-year player can't win it, and he's already established himself as a good player. So
my initial pick was Bam, but I was trying to think of a different way to mix that up.
Right. I'm gonna go with a different guy too, just to be different. But I think Bam won it.
Yeah.
Well, then Landon, who's the guy then?
I'd say Jason Tatum, but that's just me because he's been balling this year.
That's fair.
Devontae Graham could get a shout as well.
Yeah.
Oh, mine's Devontae Graham.
That was mine. That was actually mine.
Yeah. You go into your point, then I'll go into mine because it's Devontae Graham.
Okay, yes. Devontae Graham was in the G League last year.
Yes.
Was even in the league.
He's
behind Kemba Walker. He was a third string out of their choice. He was a come-up player.
He's a second-year player.
Now, what?
He's a second-year player. He came
I know, but
as Luka.
He was nothing last year. He averaged He had 2 points a game last year. He wasn't even in the league. He was in the G League, and now he's put up 34. He's put up I don't even know.
He's put up some big numbers, but I think his averages is low 20, high teens.
Guys, it's the same argument.
We're talking about just a player. I still think it's Devontae Graham. That's just me.
What were you gonna say, Chris?
It's the same argument as why you can't have Luka. He's a second-year player. He came in the same draft.
Devontae Graham wasn't even in the league last year. He was in the G League.
A second-year player has never won it, and he is a second-year player.
Yeah, kind of demolishes.
Then why are you allowed to pick Devontae?
So, I mean, I the only second-year player I could see winning is Devontae Graham, ever, just because of the astronomical leap he made. But, yeah, I agree it's not going to happen. I think we're all forgetting the player who is going to win it, and it's Brandon Ingram. Okay. Our perspective of Brandon Ingram has changed. Let's go back to the trade in the offseason. We thought that the Lakers got saved their second-best player in Kuzma. We all thought Brandon Ingram was never going to amount to much. And then the Pelicans start the year off without Zion Williamson, which was awful. They were not expecting that. So what does Brandon Ingram do? Averages 25 points, makes a huge leap, single-handedly leads that team, which, granted, they were not great, but Brandon Ingram going from a borderline role player on the Lakers last year to being
All-star.
the star of a team this year, being
Into
a unanimous all-star for a team that was that bad.
It wasn't unanimous.
I think pretty much everyone had him in the All-Star game. And if you didn't,
Barkley didn't.
well, Barkley's
Hey,
Barkley.
Drew Barkley, he's horrible.
Yeah, no. I think Brandon Ingram, in everyone's logical mind, was an all-star.
That man can go sit down and eat donuts in the middle of Cuba or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like Bam Adebayo, I think for the casual NBA fan didn't really know him, but if you knew the NBA, you knew he was one of the better players on the Heat. He played a little bit better this year. Like stats-wise, he didn't really improve that much. It's just that the Heat are a really good team this year, so we got that all-star bid. I think it's Brandon Ingram.
I mean, that was my second choice. Yeah.
I think just the whole league itself, the whole NBA itself is becoming a whole lot better. Like every player for the most part is like Lonzo got way better this year. He 10% in 3-point percentage, 3 more assists. He's getting like 7 more points a game. And him and Lonzo together are just that's deadly, those two. Lonzo throwing his lobs all the time. But like I said, just the whole league itself is getting better. Like 1 through 50 is great. Like even 1 through 100 is good now. Mm-hmm. As before, you'd only have like, I guess I'm going into 2K ratings, but you'd only have like 3 or 4 90s, and now you got like 10 90s.
Very fair.
I mean, I love the bringing up 2K ratings, but I would like to call you out a little bit here, Logan. The statistical leap that you're mentioning wasn't that substantial. Kind of was. And when I say that, I just looked up Bam Adebayo's stats from the past 3 years, and he went from having 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, to 16, 10, 5 assists, a steal, and a block a game. So, it kind of was a substantial stat leap. And I'm not saying
so half a rebound more and three assists. That's his leap?
Actually, he doubled his point totals. Now averages a double-double and has 5 assists, which is pretty close to what the Joker has. And he's considered one of the best passers as big man in the league.
And what the NBA is now doing is they're calculating like when a player guards another player. So like when LeBron guards Kawhi, he's only scoring 10 points on 30% shooting or whatever. But like I think that's a cool stat now, and I wish they implemented it more in after games and like box scores. So like you could look at Bam's defensive percentage when he's guarding good players versus role players or bench players.
Joe and Giannis.
Yeah.
Gotta move on. What's the next
one?
All right,
I will get roasted then apparently. We'll move on to the final award because 6th man, I mean, that's a hard award to really take outside of Lou Will. Coach of the year is just whoever's got the best record. So we'll go to the MVP, the most valuable player right now in the NBA. And if you say anyone else besides who is in my mind, you're wrong. But I'll give Landon the chance to try to prove me wrong.
Can I guess who's in your mind with all the Milwaukee stuff in the background?
Am I? Am I from Wisconsin? I can't tell. I mean, I do have a LaMelo jersey, so
yeah, it's California.
Spicing up a little.
Is it LaMelo?
Yeah.
LaMelo, who you want us to vote for? Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah.
All right, I got LeBron James.
LeBron James. That's
LeBron James.
You are wrong in many ways.
No, man.
That was big. Yeah, you're very harsh, I must say. I already know Logan's going to yell at all of us about how great Giannis is.
It's a good argument.
I agree with him though. Like,
whoa! Whose turn is it to speak? Logan said Landon. Logan said Landon.
You go first.
I love arguing with you, Cam.
Just get ready.
Okay, the argument is awesome. The debate is awesome between the two players, Giannis and LeBron. It's tough. The two are great. I think Giannis is a better scorer, but I think LeBron's better in crunch time. And LeBron can be lazy, yes, but when it's time, I don't think LeBron's ever lost a game 7. So I know this is I know that's postseason.
Stop,
I know.
stop,
We're talking about regular season.
That's not part of the conversation. This is regular season MVP. Previous. This year, Landon, don't talk about game sevens. In the regular season this year, who was the best player?
Hold on. I'd like to take this moment to just look over at Jackson's screen and just notice that he's not even looking at us.
No, he's on Google Chrome right now.
You know what I hear, or do you know whenever I hear this about him screaming about Giannis and Pavan trying to talk otherwise, it's every time I'm talking to you guys. So I already know how this.
All right.
That is true. We can go on for like probably a solid hour and 40 minutes just Logan being, talking about how great Milwaukee and Giannis and
this segment could have been recorded.
I'm not talking right now. Landon's talking. Landon.
I just think LeBron's a better distributor. I think LeBron is a better defender. Because if LeBron was 7-1 with that wingspan.
I gotta leave. You're so dumb.
Pause. Before you start, Landon, you're turning this more into an argument about who's a better player. This is most valuable. And frankly, Giannis's argument for why he's more valuable to Milwaukee is great. And it's something that Logan probably unintentionally diminishes every time he talks about the Bucks. But if we really broke this award down, it should be LeBron every single year. It's just how it is. He's always the most important player to whatever team he's a part of. When he was with Dwayne Wade, they wouldn't. Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh weren't enough to win a championship on their own. Maybe I guess they could have been, but they probably wouldn't have because LeBron was in the league and he would have won it. But he's always the most important player. He just is. It's just how it is.
And I think he's gonna win it because the last time he won it was 4 or 5 years ago. So I think it's his turn now since the league kind of rotates.
We have to run through a few other people and then give it back to LeBron because he deserves it again.
Right. Because the last time a player won it back-to-back was Steph Curry. And that was when those were ridiculous numbers. He was breaking records left and right.
It was really funny because the unanimous season should have been his second time winning it because he averaged like 38 and like 2.5 steals. And his first time he won it, he averaged like 26 and 6.
Yeah.
And it was unanimous. But, Logan, I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Why can't Zion win it this year?
He's the most important player to his team.
Exactly. Most valuable. Put him on the Knicks. The Knicks will make the playoffs.
I think we witnessed when Luka went down how important he is to the Mavs.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm trying to change the definition of what the most valuable player is.
No, it's just a tough – I don't know. It's a tough thing, and it's hard to vote too.
When you take them off of their team, who means the most to their team?
Right.
Yeah, you've seen what AD can do on this.
Milwaukee would be nothing without Giannis, though. Milwaukee would not even be a playoff contender without Giannis. So you're not telling me
I don't know about that.
I hate what can't.
They're the sixth seed.
They would be in the playoffs.
They would be in the playoffs. The East is so bad.
They're not a 1 seed with like 11 losses.
I don't know. I think they could be like a 5th or 4th seed. I really do. I think they're better than the Pacers without Giannis.
As the Miami Heat without Giannis.
Yes. Oh, my God, Chris.
And that is why I don't think Giannis should win it.
Question. What team right now has the highest point differential in NBA history?
That's as a team. That's not because of Giannis. Giannis plays 30 minutes a game.
I got side-by-side stats.
That's the best player efficiency rating in NBA history in a season right now.
We're not talking about that.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
That's not.
Which MVP just improved on every single stat from his previous year where he won the MVP. So you're saying a man who you almost unanimously won the MVP last year over James Harden.
So if we're talking –
hold on.
James Harden never be in the conversation.
You're telling me he's not going to win the MVP because LeBron signed his – pardon my language, his fuckboy, Anthony Davis, to just throw lobs to him where 7 of his 9 assists go to this.
So if we're talking about stats.
Yo, Anger Monster, can I speak for a second?
No.
For one thing, thanks for getting the video demonetized. For another thing, what's it called?
If we're talking about stats
Oh my
first.
God.
If we're
Russell Westbrook had 2 seasons where he consecutively won or
Exactly.
consecutively had triple doubles average.
Exactly.
And then you know what happened the second time? He still lost. Matt Ryan just had a better season than his MVP year. And you know what happened? He lost the MVP. He didn't.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Counter argument. Russ was a 6th seed. And people realized that Russ was stat padding his triple doubles. He wasn't making as big of an impact as people thought he was. Even though he was giving those high stats, the Thunder were still a 6th seed with Paul
Because
George.
that team was butt cheeks.
Okay, guess what? You want to know how valuable Russell Westbrook is? Last year they had Paul George and Russ, and they were a 6th seed. This year they lost Russ and Paul George, gained Chris Paul, and are still a 6th seed. So they're just like Russ just has no value to that team.
Can y'all read that?
Jackson just nailed it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Jackson just nailed
Just
it.
making sure.
All right, so I'm done. I will now open the floor to anything that any conversation wants to be brought up or topic
I think
or.
we need to talk about the Hall of Fame inductees that were.
Okay, Kobe, Kevin Garnett, and Tim Duncan. Cool, they're in the Hall of Fame.
They're all Hall of Famers. There they go.
Yeah, let's be
They're
honest.
really good.
Okay,
That's
but
not-
They're really good at the game of
Chris
basketball.
Webber should have got selected.
All right, any other topics or discussions that want to be brought up? Or
The
how-
NFL 17 game season now. They 3 preseason
Yeah,
games,
fair-
now 17.
The NFL season is at 17 games now, and the playoffs have been extended to 7 teams.
It doesn't start this upcoming season. It starts
Yeah.
the season after.
Yeah.
No, it does start. Oh, the 17-game season starts next 2 years from now, but the 17 playoffs starts this year.
You know, I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to get ripped apart on my 6th man of the year and coach of the year choices, but
Yeah, I was going to say like Dennis Schroeder and the Memphis coach, honestly.
I don't think you can be ripped to
Billy
those are two
Donovan
awards
and
where I don't think you could get ripped to shreds on because I mean there's so many candidates this year and it's really hard to like pinpoint who wins it, you know, especially coach of the year.
I had Billy Donovan.
That's fair.
That's
And
a
that's a fair one. I don't think there's really an argument there. So that's the only reason. Do you guys want to mention it? I mean, is there really a point?
No, I rather talk about the playoffs.
Okay.
I got something interesting after the playoffs. After we talk about that.
Yeah. So 7 in the NFL, there'll be 7 teams in the playoffs now. I think the most interesting note here, the most pointed conversation, is that extra playoff game is going to be aired on Nickelodeon.
What?
Which is incredibly interesting. Yeah. It's going to be aired on Nickelodeon to expand their market towards young adults and kids.
Like
I think that's
they can't do with the NFL 100.
SpongeBob commentating what?
But no, we're talking about that possibly. We're talking like halftime show being Sweet Victory. This instead of a Gatorade bath, they want to do slime. Like this is legitimate. It could be like a completely different event.
I did not know this. I did.
Yeah,
This is
Huh.
amazing.
I didn't think about the slime thing.
just like no, they're going to be presenting the game a lot differently than a normal telecast. Because I mean, they're not going to get like professional broadcasters to call it Nickelodeon game. It's going to be something completely different.
With SpongeBob and Patrick are gonna be the mascots, or
So let me ask you
Who's
this.
the parent company?
That's a hard question. I don't know. I will look it up right now. But let me ask you this: Is it a smart idea or is it a gimmick?
it's a gimmick.
Viacom.
It's interesting.
CBS. CBS is so it'd be their broadcasters.
So it's Turner Sports.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
Interesting.
no, Viacom. Turner Sports is TNT and TBS and stuff.
And CBS. It's all 4 of them. Is it not?
No,
Oh, never mind then.
I don't believe. I think PBS.
Okay.
Yes,
I don't know.
TV.
Either way, I just have one question.
Anyway, is this a gimmick or is it something that could actually work?
I have a
Full-blown
question to counter your question. Why? Why do you mess with the best playoff system on the face of this earth?
Yeah, I kind of hate it because now we're gonna have to deal with the Cowboys for longer. Because let's be
More
honest,
money, more gains, more money.
Yeah, and that's not what this is about. It doesn't. You know
They
how
don't
much money
care.
they
want
have.
money. That's all they want. They don't
I
care.
understand that, but do you understand how much money they have?
They
Another
want more.
week
You
of
always
TV
want
revenue
more.
would set all of us for life.
so hot in my room right
You
now.
never have enough money.
Yeah,
I know you
exactly.
can't.
They don't care about the players at all.
They have most of it already. Like,
I don't
Think-
even know how that CBA passed.
Okay, I'm thinking of it as a fan perspective. This is how I think of it. I love to watch
Yeah.
football, and the
So do I.
best time to watch football is in the playoffs. So why not have more playoff games so you have more fans to watch? That's how I think of it.
Because the more playoff games, it's taking out the ability to cut off the best and the worst. Because now there's 18 teams to the 14 that are going to get in. There's only a very slim margin that splits the 50-50, which I think the NBA's got it the worst. There's no real divider. There's more teams that make the playoffs than that miss it.
Well, I think from the NBA, you can mention. Let me ask you this: who ever watches the 1 versus 8 seed series and actually think that's a competition?
When the Mavs used to make it and push the Spurs to 7, I was watching them.
I actually just watched the Spurs Mavs.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that 7th playoff team, because now the 2nd seed isn't going to get a bye anymore. They're going to play during wild card weekend, so they have to go against the 7th team. That just seems like a waste, in my opinion.
The thing of it this year, it would have been Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. That would have been close. That's a divisional game.
Yeah, but Pittsburgh
Not that close.
The only reason that's a close game is because of divisional. If you're just looking at 2 teams out, if they weren't in the same division, I'd say Baltimore. Then it wouldn't be close.
Rams would have played the 49ers this year.
The Rams.
Okay, the 49ers
played the Seahawks. You're right.
The 49ers wiped the floor with the Vikings and then proceeded to do the same thing to the Packers, which are 2 quality teams, despite Kirk Cousins being the quarterback. And you know what? I hate the idea that Kirk Cousins is bad, but I just can't. I like him, but like, do we really need 2 more years of him? Couldn't we have tried something else? Like, we gave him his run.
Oh, don't worry. In 3 years, you're gonna get old, decrepit Aaron Rodgers because all you do is you take old Packers from us.
That's not true at all. Greg Jennings and like who?
Brandon Bostic.
How long did that last? And how many snaps did he play?
Enough.
Oh, that's
Brett Favre from us.
No, he's a tight end. The only tight end that I know of, like in the past couple of years, is Kyle Rudolph. Since he's entered the league, he's the only tight end that catches passes on our team.
That's true.
Very fair. Jackson, do you have any topics that you'd like to discuss?
I wish we.
I got
no,
one.
but I do have. So if we're about to wrap this up, I have something that I would like to strongly advise the fans of doing.
Oh wait, before then, Cam, you said you had something.
Okay, so I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if the college football season is canceled, which is it's a high possibility right now. They're
okay. Just keep going.
I'm saying if. How is that going to hurt draft stocks next year if they're not even playing? So how is that going to work? What?
If college football's done, the NFL's done.
I know, but like if players are trying to go to the NFL next year, say Trevor Lawrence, okay, I know he's going to be probably top 3 pick next year's draft, no matter what. But for those players that are getting better and don't play, how is that going to hurt their draft stock? How's the draft going to work out next year?
We won't have a draft because the contracts will stay stagnant. The NFL won't be able to do a draft if there's no season played. You won't lose a year on your contract. You'll have just been paid extra.
So will those players get an extra year of eligibility for the seniors?
Yes, you have to. If your season didn't start before it got canceled, you should get an automatic year of eligibility.
So they already did it for all spring sports in the NCAA. They already gave them their
But I don't agree with that. The basketball thing, they shouldn't have. Their season was over. It was
no. Basketball's winter.
We're not doing it for basketball.
Yeah, no. This is for spring. This is for like baseball, softball.
Yeah, those kids deserve it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think you can have a draft if college football's canceled because the NFL will have to be canceled with it.
I think that is so far into the future where we don't know where it's going to be. We don't know what tomorrow is going to be like.
At this point, I'm not worried about it. I figure it'll be gone by June.
Yeah. Anyway, anyone else have anything to say?
No, not really.
All right, Jackson, you wanted to have your piece?
Yes. All right, guys. So I know you guys are locked in, and I know there's a lot of time that you have on your hands. And one thing that I would strongly recommend you do is you go to YouTube, right, and you type in Cole McDonald and just spend some time with that tape because, oh, my God, I love that kid. That's the Minshew of this draft class. Mark my words.
Is this really what's happening right now? Are you recommending college tape to these guys?
Yes, I am. And Zach Moss. If you want to be – it's like watching a horror movie. You'll be –
Oh, we're doing this now? Guys, I want everyone to watch Albert O. from Missouri.
Wait, can you say his last name, please?
Yeah, say his last name, and then I will.
Hoegnabam.
Nope. Ahoegbunam.
I just said that.
Nope. You said it weird.
He's the man.
And while you're at it, go to 2016, go to the Cardinals game, and just look up Jeff Janis highlights because you'll be surprised to see an amazing player come out of that game.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Hey, you're shouting out random people. I cannot shout out random
Please
people.
God, do not let Jeff Janis be the last thing we say on this pod.
All right,
He won't
I'll
be.
say the last thing. Go
He
on
won't be,
YouTube
because
and look up
DJ
butt
Wilson
fumble.
highlights from the last game of the Bucks before the season ended. Had a great game. I think he's deserving of a shout out.
Janis from like 4 years ago?
No, DJ Wilson.
Oh, DJ Wilson. That's fair. I don't.
Anyway, Landon.
Awesome. Yo, how about Jordan Poole? That guy came on at the end of the season.
That's my guy. That's my Michigan boy.
Landon.
Every guy's your Michigan boy, Kim.
Because they're all from Michigan.
Yeah, I
DJ
know.
Wilson, Jordan Poole, Duncan Robinson. Chris Barr is currently frozen on my screen.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, Landon, you wanted to say something before?
I was just gonna say go on YouTube, look up butt fumble, but
All right.
I don't want to.
Well, apparently we lost Chris, but for everyone else, for Jackson McCarty, Chris Spar, Cam Champagne, and Landon Potvin, I am Logan Windsor. Stay safe, everyone.
Deuces.
See you next time.
You guys are stupid.
There, now I can end the record.